Hi.
Nice to see you again, Vadim.
Thank you.
So probably we can start and share the results of updates we have for current week. So I will share my screen. So for now we have as you probably already know, we have a MSI roadmap, and it's pretty easy to track our current state and the updates we have week by week. So during this week, we were working on two stories mostly, sources to stock assignment APIs and admin UI for sources to stock assignment. Actually, along that work, we decided to reconsider and re-implement and a little bit refactor our existing API for stock item and change the way how we work with the stock item ID. So we decided that because the stock item entity is just a link, we no need to show its ID at all. And because its state and the state of this entity is represented by source ID and the SKU, so we actually eliminated the awareness about the stock item ID in the system. So you can look through the code base, and I will update the documentation of the APIs, of the current state of the APIs, because after some conversation with Valera here, we decided that we introduce some APIs and some approaches which don't have examples in our current Magento 2 code base, and it would be useful to describe why particularly some of these changes has been made and why these differ from what we have in Magento 2 code base. So we tried also to make all our changes to be documented in the code. So we added quite a lot of documentation and description in the PHP doc blogs, in the PHP comments to all the interfaces we have in the inventory API module. So it would be useful for you when you will looking through the interfaces in inventory API module to get awareness why some particular decision for interface has been made. So now I'm stop sharing my screen and give a word to Valera, and he will switch and he will start sharing his desktop and will show how these two stories were implemented.
I think one task is missing in this overview. My task is missing currently. The stock and source assignment with indexer. It's not shown in this overview.
Stock assignment links. Let me check. You mean, so we don't have this task in our issues, but it was this interface for this assignment links of sources to stocks was implemented in the scope of that pull request. So you was working on that pull request, and Valera continues that work, and it's implemented in the scope of this pull request, which is now beyond presented by Valera. So this task is on board of the code base which is used for this demo.
Can you unmute?
Mute?
Unmute. I want to mute.
I'm unmuted.
Click.
Hi guys. Hi guys. This week we have finished several things. First of all, we replace checkboxes on multi-select. It was request from our PO. And also we fixed bug with shipping method savings on source page. Next, as say Igor, we completed global refactoring of our API interfaces. Now they became more friendly, more DDD friendly. But now this code not pushed. I going to push today evening. And finally, we finished UI part of source assignment to stock. For example, stock 7. Functionality like us on product page. Done. Save. Remove. It was last part of 39 PR. On next week, I going to work on Web API. I want to start work on Web API functional test, and I think we will match PR 38 in morning, maybe in evening of Monday. That's all.
Okay. So I'll start share again. So looks like we can cross out these stories from our roadmap. And it's gonna be delivered in the scope of pull request MSI stock UI aggregation. And this story assignment per admin UI for source to stock assignment. This one.
Yeah, and the new indexing of inventory and creating virtual aggregation stock items based on linkage
Mhm.
this is under development.
Okay, so correct. And Lars, do you want us to discuss the story you mentioned about stock indexer?
Currently, not. I have not enough time to thinking about it. I read your answer, and after this meeting, I will make some draft something, and yeah.
Actually, maybe that will help. So I added a description. Yes. I added a description of step-by-step checkout on the reservation page. So here I describe the reservation entity, but more. Oля, could you please mute yourself? But what is more important, here I describe the example of how the particular checkout happens when we have several physical sources, like here source A, source B, source C, and amount of particular SKU, in our case SKU1, like 20, 25, 10. So it describes the idea of the stock item. So the stock item is a virtual aggregation, and the stock item which should be created in the time of the indexation process. So we need to introduce a new type of index which will create the stock item table. So that would be new stock item table, not the one which is already used for the catalog inventory module. And we need to calculate this aggregation like 20 plus 25 plus 10 and get 55. And for example, how we will use this data. So for example, we have a customer who come to the site, and that customer wants to buy 30 items of the SKU1. And at this time, Magento needs to check whether we can sell this amount of items to this particular customer. And to make this decision, we actually use the stock item, but not the source items. And in our case, we use the 55. And also we need to make a deduction of all the existing reservation. So for now, we don't have the reservation. That's why we make a deduction like 55 minus 0. And this is more than 30. 30 is a requested number by this customer. That's why we make decision that we can proceed to checkout and place the order. So in our case, during the order placement time, the system is agnostic to the fact from which physical sources the quantity of the SKU1 would be deducted afterwards. So that's why we don't use source item interfaces during the process of order placement. Also, it's not correct to deduct the quantity of 30 items from the stock item, because the stock item is an index entity, and it's not correct to write data to the index entity. So we can use just for read operation the index entity. Like, for example, the same as for the flat table. So we can just read data from the flat table, but not write there. So the data in a flat table is a point of changing during their indexation process only. So this time we just create a reservation object, and it's very important here to mention that the reservation So it's just append only operation. So we don't make any checks. We don't make any blocking operation. We don't make any race conditions here. That's why actually one of the points we want to fix possible race conditions which could happen now during the Magento 2 checkout, because for now we are making a transactional way of checking whether we have enough quantity on particular stock item. But in our case, we will just make, using the reservation management service, we will just add a reservation in a particular quantity, that's all. So we would not get any possible lock wait timeout or deadlock or something, because we don't make any additional checks. We just make a reservation, that's all. And after the first order, the system has next state. So we have source item A, source item B, source item C, the same quantity as before, like 20, 25, and 10. And the quantity of the SQ1 on the stock item A is still 55, so it's not changed yet. So we did not process order yet. So for example, the order could be processed potentially through the queue. So, and it's possible that there would be some latency after the order has been placed before the order would be processed. So it could be a delta of time when when the inventory would not be changed neither on physical items like source items, nor on a virtual aggregation. And for example, during this time, another customer comes to the site, and that customer wants to buy 10 items of the same SKU. And now we need to make a decision again whether we can sell that quantity to this particular customer. And we proceed with the same steps as before. So we need to make to get the quantity of the SQ1 on a stock item A, which is 55, and make a deduction of a number of all existing reservations for the product SQ1. And in our case, it's already 30. So we just make a 55 minus 30 equals to 25, still more than 10. Thus, we make a decision that we can proceed to checkout. So here it's the scenario where the stock item gonna be used and how it's gonna be used. So based on this description, I will probably add some more details how the order would be processed. So during the order processing time, so as you can see here, we don't use source item at all. And the source item would be used during the order processing time when we need to make a deduction on some particular sources. And for this decision, we need to launch the algorithm which will actually decide from which particular sources we need to make the deduction. So that would be that will happen during the time of the order processing. But for now, we are describing and we are preparing all the interfaces which we need for the order placement time. So it should be, order placement should be as fast as possible. It should be without any possible locking operation as possible, and potentially it could be processed asynchronously. That's all the technical requirements we have for the order placement. So that document could be useful for you, and you can find it in the section Technical Design Reservation.
Okay, but then we need two new entities, a new entity for the quantities and a new entity for reservations.
The first entity you mean for quantity, so yeah. The first entity is the stock item, and the stock item is indexed index entity. And yeah, I believe we already have the data interface for stock item. And we need to make some management interfaces, which are managed here, like Valera mentioned, like stock item indexer and stock item manager, something like that. So we would not have a repository for stock item as we have for source item. So you see, there is no repository for stock item because it's an index entity, and it's not reasonable to provide an API for the stock item management. So there would not be any interface added to the inventory API module, but we will have an interface added to the inventory module, and that interface would be during the indexation time. So that that interface will create that stock item entity. Is it clear, or maybe I need to describe it in a little broader and provide more examples?
For me, clear so far. Just two questions from my side because I was not that deep in the project last time. So the index entity, the stock index entity, and the stock manager for the indexer isn't implemented yet.
It's not implemented yet.
Still a topic, and the reservation also is just the next topic we have to implement. All right. Okay, I think we need the index entity before we have the reservation, because the dependencies there. So I think Lars is also already assigned for this topic, or?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the task. This is the issue number 48, and Lars is assigned to it.
All right. So perfect. I think as I already wrote you before, I will have on Sunday, I think something about 6 hours where I can work on this project. So I think we already make a date with Lars where we work together on this topic. So I think I will join this.
Yeah, this issue is pretty interesting, and it's pretty big one, so you can take it and both work on it.
Yeah. All right. Is there also like a concept written on the wiki for the index aggregation? And
currently not. I don't. This was my task to write some technical concept.
It would be delivered in the scope of the request which Valera going to deliver today evening.
My last changes I pushed already pushed. Final changes like a fixed static test will be on Monday.
So did we already merge it with the develop branch? So can guys just rely on the develop branch as a source of trust?
No.
So let's make a merge.
Let's branch from.
Let's make a delivery of that pull request to the develop branch probably if we have the green test.
No, now we don't have green test. Maybe we can fork from MSI stock UI aggregation branch.
Okay, so let's decide it this way. We will decide with Valera, and we'll provide you a stable branch after this meeting, because we have the latest interfaces in Valera's branch, but that branch for now, at the current state, has some red test, and we will decide how to fix that to provide you a branch with latest interfaces which would be stable. Okay?
All right.
Okay, so do you have guys any other questions?
So far not. I have to see the code. I'm pretty. I think I will be surprised what I will see after the new pool on the code base.
I believe yes, because we made quite a lot of changes. But that would be a good surprise. I hope so. And actually, we are really excited to see you back on board. And so it's really nice.
Yeah, thanks. I also happy to be back. The projects here in company don't have enough time for this, but I'm looking forward, and I'm pretty sure I will be surprised in a positive way.
Yeah, and also please pay attention, for example, for the multiple operation save, because we don't have such examples in the Magento code, and this is pretty performance efficient API. Actually, Lars tweeted about that some time ago, and it's pretty interesting because actually, like, we had a meetup yesterday in Magento office, and we had a conversation about the slow, like not enough performance of our API, so the multiple saving API will help to fix that problem. So we already start using this approach in the scope of the MSI, so I believe that would be useful for designing your own API maybe in future. So this is kind of a good example.
Great. So is this already the new ORM we talk about on the hackathon?
It's not ORM yet, but it's a new way how we start to design interfaces to support multiple entities persistence. Still based on the resource models under the hood.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. And if you have any questions, just Slack, so we will be happy to help you. And have a great evening and have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah, we have really stormy weather here.
Yeah,
If you
actually, we have pretty the same here.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.